Good evening. We begin tonight live from Queen's Park. Earlier this year, the Ford government had to back down on controversial cuts to public health and childcare. Today, the Premier announced they're going ahead with them, but they will be softening the blow to municipalities. So what does this mean for Toronto? Well, even the city isn't quite sure yet.
We recognize our government moved quickly when we came into office to address our inherited challenges. But my friends, we're listening to you.
That is a veiled mea culpa from the Premier. 3 months ago, he had to back down from imposing retroactive cuts to municipalities that were buried in the provincial budget. Toronto alone estimated it would lose $1 billion in funding for public health over 10 years. Prompting cries, breakfast and vaccination programs would be cut, along with water testing and restaurant checks. Doug Ford announced today municipal cuts are still coming as of January 1st, but he's making them more palatable.
We're providing transitional funding for your budgeting process in 2020 to help our municipal partners pursue greater fiscal sustainability and protect the future of public services.
What that means is any municipality that incurs more than 10% in extra costs due to the cuts will receive transitional funding for 2 years to help them absorb it. A provincial spokesperson says as a result, Toronto will pay $4.3 million more for public health next year. Councillor Joe Cressy disputes that today, though, saying it will be more like tens of millions. Currently, the province gives the city 75% of the cost of public health while paying 100% for some programs. The model is changing right across the province, with all municipalities paying 30%. Under today's announcement, municipalities will also pay more for creating new daycare spots and their administration. John Tory led the charge against the retroactive cuts, forcing the Premier to back down. He called today's announcement an improvement.
I'm certainly optimistic that what the government is trying to do is to have a reset with municipalities, including Toronto.
LUMCO, the large urban mayors caucus of Ontario, put out a release also expressing cautious optimism, but added mayors are concerned they still face significant cuts to services like public health and childcare in 2021.
Whether those cuts come, in December, or whether they come in April of next year, or whether they come at the end of next year, municipalities don't have the capacity to absorb those kinds of cuts.
Now, Doug Ford has become a target of the federal Liberals as the election approaches. And today, federal finance minister Bill Morneau tweeted out in response to the announcement, Ontario's Conservatives are continuing their cut first, think later approach, adding, once again, this is a Conservative politicians cutting taxes for the wealthy and services for everyone else. This is a common theme by the federal Liberals.